This is the Missouri Southern State University Coaches Show with head football coach Atiba Bradley and sports director Ryan Bunnell.
Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome into the Missouri Southern Coaches Show. As always, I'm Ryan Bunnell, joined alongside by Missouri Southern head football coach Atiba Bradley. Missouri Southern coming off a 31-24 loss on the road against the Emporia State Hornets, moving the Lions' record to 2-4 overall. And while Southern is still searching for its first win in MIAA conference play, 3 of the Lions' 4 losses have come by a 7-point margin, which leads to my first question, Coach. Last week, we talked about getting over the hump. We talked about a breakthrough coming. I mean, this is now 3 7-point losses. Just what are your overall thoughts on what transpired on Saturday?
Yeah, very similar to last week, where it's a mixed bag of emotions in terms of extremely proud of our guys and their fight and their resiliency, but obviously frustrated with the outcome. We're not in this business for blue ribbons. We're not in this for pats on the back. We're in this for wins, and we want to win ball games. And I feel like our guys are doing what they need to win ball games. And so for us to come up short, it's extremely frustrating. And hats off to Emporia and their staff and what they're doing. But we want to get through this. We've learned enough. Now we're ready to apply that learning.
Definitely. And there were some ebbs and flows to this one. Got out to a hot start with a big score in the first quarter. Then Emporia goes and scores 4 straight. But then Southern battled back in the fourth quarter, a huge fourth quarter to make it a one-possession game. You mentioned your team's fight. Just overall, what would you say about your team and what it showed their resiliency in this one?
Yeah, I think it shows the amount of hard work that they've put in. When you have a team that goes through adversity and maybe hasn't put in the work, it's real easy to lay it down or just quit. But these guys aren't going to quit because of the amount of work that they've put in to get to this point. And so, it was a game of ebb and flows, and I thought we came out hot, and then they kind of got the momentum going their way, and then we kind of recaptured it toward the end and just came up a few plays short.
Definitely. We're kind of at the halfway point now in the season. After a few tough results, how do you as a coach kind of keep your group's confidence, keep that moxie up, knowing that they can go out there and win a football game any given Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue of confidence. I think our guys are pretty confident. And again, I think that confidence comes from their preparation. A lot of times some of the false bravado or that kind of, shaky confidence comes from people that have not prepared. And I'm telling you, our guys have lifted well, they've run well, they've studied film, they've done what they've needed to win. It's just putting it all together in those final few pieces that we're missing. So my confidence has not wavered one bit in this group, and I'm just excited to go back to get the next opportunity next Saturday.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about that one next Saturday later in the show. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into some footage from Saturday's game. The Lions started this one out with a bang, like we mentioned, on just the 3rd play from scrimmage. Tillman Martin found Houston Rotich for a 75-yard touchdown to take a 7-0 lead just 80 seconds into the game. That's now 3 60-plus yard passing touchdowns in the last 4 weeks for Southern. Coach, do you attribute these big plays to the speed on offense, or what was really the key play for this one against the Hornets?
Yeah, I think it all played in together. I think it was a great play call for the situation. I think it was a great route, a great protection. Ball was thrown. I mean, it just, when everything syncs up like that, that's where you get those big plays.
Definitely, and that one kind of set the tone early. But as we mentioned, the Hornets did go on to rattle off 4 unanswered touchdowns. What sort of adjustments from your perspective did Emporia State make after that first drive, and what really made it difficult to get things going offensively after that point?
Yeah, we mentioned this last week. Just that's a high-octane, high-tempo offense, and so there's going to be some times where they sputter. There's going to be some times where they really get to going. And after that, the first couple drives, they really hit their stride and had a little bit of a rhythm. And it just took us a minute to settle in.
Definitely. And in that fourth quarter, though, the offense did settle in, started to click. Victor Chianuma found the end zone twice before eventually Asher Huffman would knock in a field goal to make it a one-possession game. And, Coach, this was Huffman's first career appearance for the Lions. What did you see from the freshman in practice that kind of earned him this start on Saturday?
Yeah, he missed a lot of fall camp with I think like a quad bruise. So we didn't see a ton early, but then you know, he came back and he just started booting them. I mean, from kickoffs to field goals, he was just doing a great job. The ball pops off his foot with really good velocity. And so we started him out with kickoff, and then he slowly won the field goal and extra point job.
Definitely, and as you see on the screen right here, he also executed an onside kick in the final minutes to give Southern a chance in the end. How often do you guys kind of practice these specific late game situations, and how confident were you that he could go out there and execute the onside?
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit. Every Wednesday practice, Friday morning practice, we go through all the different scenarios that we'll come across in the special teams, and you know, onside was no different. And yeah, you kind of hold your breath because it's kind of a play that there's just a lot of moving parts in a very short amount of time. And so, man, it was good to get one, and wish we could have got another.
Yeah, just saw that on the screen there. That second attempt after that first one, nearly converting another, but Emporia State able to kneel out the clock to get the win. All right, let's go ahead and pull up that score graphic. As we mentioned at the start, a 31-24 loss for the Lions on the road. Southern outgained by Emporia State by just 34 yards. Pretty tight competition there, but the Hornets brought the pressure all day, sacking Tillman Martin 6 times in this one. We'll get into more offensive stats later in the show, but the Hornets held Southern to just 44 rushing yards and 1.4 yards per carry. And speaking of the run game, coach Nathan Glades was kind of on the sideline, limping a little bit, threw up a couple times during this one. Do you have any status update on him at this time?
Yeah, he's your typical Sunday. You know, he's sore, he's banged up. But that's what Sundays are for. That's what Mondays are for, is to kind of rest and recovery. He was able to finish the game, and we expect him to be just fine on Tuesday.
Definitely, and we know that backfield runs pretty deep. Glades is the team's leading rusher. Certainly hoping to see him, of course, back out there next week. We're going to head to a quick break right now, but when we come back, we'll take a closer look at the offense's performance. Stay tuned.